All righty. Welcome to Dynamic Dojo Talk TV, everyone. I don't know what happened to our trailer video. It disappeared. I don't know. It just disappeared. Well, welcome everyone. It's 6:02 p.m. on May 1st. Happy May Day, everybody. And we are joined by Sifu Robert Deal. Let me go ahead and unmute his mic. Hey, Bob, how you doing? Oh wait, I muted your. Let me now. Wait, hold on. Your microphone is muted. Hold on. Let me this. Oh wait, I'm muted. I'm muted. I need to unmute. I need to unmute you. Oh, I keep muting myself. I keep muting myself. Hold on. Uh Technical difficulties, folks, but anyway, welcome to Dynamic Dojo Talk TV. Let me see if I can unmute Sifu Bob's mic here. How do I unmute you? Hold on. I see you talking, but I can't get your mic to come on. Hold on. Eject? No, I don't want to eject you. Let's see. Darn it! What? Hold on. I keep muting myself. Ah! Okay. Darn it. Okay. Hold on. Let me see here. How do I unmute Sifu Bob? Dang it. Yes, I know he's muted. How do I? Hold on. And now I'm gonna. He's. All I see is a talking head. I know, Bob. I've been trying to mute you for years now, but let me. Wait. Okay, that's me. I can mute myself. Now, how do group? Your microphone is muted. I know my microphone is. I am going to have a conniption fit. Anyway, so while I figure out how to mute Sifu Bob's microphone on here, because I keep hitting the microphone button and it keeps muting and unmuting me. So what we're going to do real quick is I'm going to just tell everyone what we're going to be talking about a little bit later. This is Beginner's Corner tonight at Dynamic Dojo Talk TV, and we're also going to be welcoming any experienced martial artists that want to join us to tell us about their first days, weeks in the martial arts, to kind of reminisce a little bit, flashback a little bit. And that column of light is driving me crazy. Looks like I have a halo, or look, I've got a great idea. Ding. Anyway, so we're gonna be talking about that a little bit later after our first segment, so don't go away. So now I just got to figure out how to make Sifu Bob's mic come on.
Is that any better?
There we go. Now we got you.
There it is.
Oh, there you are. All right. Very good. Well, now that we got you on the horn here, live on Dynamic Dojo Talk TV, how is your week, Bob?
Weird.
Weird.
To say the least.
Huh? Why's that?
For the last couple days, I must have had this sign on my head that said, "Hey, homeless people, come talk to me. I want to be your friend."
Oh.
And it wasn't just one. I had it. I was sitting in front of a store, and it was 3 people, different people. One guy doing handstands. One guy come by and talking to himself. One guy wanted to save me from myself.
Really?
And then I had another guy at night. I was hanging out somewhere, and I guess he was having a fight with his wife or girlfriend because she was coming around. And this guy made me a little nervous. He was a little out there. He was a little off. And he said, he started to be real philosophical about, do you know what the truth is? Nobody knows what the truth is. Because I know I'm making you nervous. The whole time, I've got my hand on my knife. because I'm watching this guy's hands go in and out of his pocket.
Oh, right. That's weird. That's scary, actually.
It was actually very, very nerve-wracking. Bree's doing well. She decided to go to UCLA, and she's waiting for her rooming assignment.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to prom.
Oh, right on. Very cool. Is the dude okay?
Oh yeah.
I love how your wife chimed in with that. That was awesome.
Did you hear the cackling?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, Rusty, define okay.
Oh, is he a nice young man?
Actually, yes, he is a very
very
nice young man.
Very cool.
I'm looking at my wife going, I'm trying to put this delicately.
Yeah.
Because at my age, Rusty, my filter's off.
Yeah, you ain't got one.
He's light in loafers.
He's what?
Yeah, that's beyond her. He likes an alternative lifestyle.
Wait. So okay. So you're telling me that there's. So what is he? So he's gay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? When I worked at Shakey's, both of my bartenders were gay. And they asked me out to the clubs, right? So I went out to the clubs with them, and anybody, especially during mixed night, where both straight and gay and bi people would come out to the clubs. If any guy came up to me, they'd be up in their face. I mean, these weren't like fairies. You look at these guys and you'd be like, wow, where are their girlfriends? Because they were like really handsome, right? But they were tough as nails, and they were gay. Go figure. So
right.
Is this guy? Is he one of those guys that That,
no.
Oh, okay.
There's no mistaking his preferences.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that they make the best friends.
In other words, it is okay with me.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bree can trust him, and you can trust him also.
Oh yeah, they went and picked out the guy's tux yesterday. It matches her dress, which she looks amazing in.
Oh, right on.
Shoes today. What?
Very right on. Oh,
I'm guessing. I did have an interesting one today. You sort of know about it. Talked to you a little bit about this. Since I'm driving I've got a couple stories to tell you.
Okay.
All right, here let's start with yesterday. I got throughout the day, I got 2 adult actresses in the car that were very proud of what they did. And then proceeded to tell me about it.
Adult actresses. So you mean porn stars?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure. And okay, so they were in there together?
One girl, she retired because she got a boyfriend. So she's not doing hardcore anymore.
Okay.
I asked her flat out, because you mentioned this just now. Why is it in porn, in adult films, why is everybody a star?
Oh.
Right? You don't have a porn actress, you have a porn star.
You're a porn star. You're not a porn actor. Yeah, a porn stunt person.
That's right. So her theory is you're a star in that scene. So you are a
star.
Porn. She said that I asked her what she did for a living, like I do all my passengers, and she said, I'm self-employed. And she could have stopped there, but she didn't. I'm an adult actress. And they gave now here's what's funny about the first one now. I said, what's your stage name? And she said, Diana Prince. I said, really? Why that? She said, yes. I said, you're too young for that show. And she says, no, but I was a big comic book reader. So she's named after Wonder Woman.
Oh, okay.
How weird is that?
That is weird. That is weird.
Then today, I get this girl in the car, and I said, "You going to work?" Because I'm convinced there's only 3 reasons people get up early on a Sunday to have me drive them. That's work, church, or the walk of shame. There's only 3 reasons.
Right.
So this girl said, "No, I'm going to work." I said, "Great. What are you doing?" She says, "I'm a martial arts instructor." And I could feel the hair on the back of my neck just start to stand up because she's a young woman.
Okay.
And I said, "Really? What style?" And she said, "Oh, it's its own style." Now these hairs started to get stiffer. They started to pull out of the back of my head. And here it goes back to my filter again. Flat out. I said, I've been doing martial arts for 40 years, and I have a big bullshit meter. Flat out. Right to her face. Whoa.
What happened? Sorry, let me get rid of that.
I said, let's start
hold
again.
On a sec. I need to get rid of this thing on my... There we go. Okay, sorry. All right, so it's its own... What did she say? It's its own martial art?
It's art style. It's like MMA for children was her exact words.
Really?
And I said, okay, let's start again. What style did you start in? I started in Tempo. I said, good. Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
And then she started, and you would have absolutely went nuts at the last statement.
What did she say? Oh, you mean the MMA for kids?
No. Forms are crap.
Whoa, what?
What? They're absolutely useless. Did you know that? Did you know all your forms are crap and they don't mean anything?
Wait, did she say this to you after you told her you did martial arts for 40 years?
Yeah.
How old was this lady?
She's not too bright.
How old was this lady?
Oh God, she couldn't be over 30.
Okay,
maybe.
Yeah. That's too bad. That's too bad. And I really think we should talk a little bit about that a little bit later for the beginners about the importance of forms. And forms aren't for everybody. But on the same token, I'm a firm believer in that a lot of people are misinterpreting what Bruce Lee said when he said, don't get caught up in the traditional mess. So, Bob and I will discuss that a little bit later after our first segment. So, wow, forms are crap. That's what she said.
Yeah, but I thought you'd like that since you're a form girl. See, I was never into forms. I mean, I studied arts that were almost formless completely, except the Wing Chun side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then it wasn't the full Wing Chun. They didn't do the bot jump down. They didn't do the 6.5 point pole or jump Q. They did the Sulam Tao.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah. I thought you'd like that though.
Yeah. For everyone out there that knows me, I love forms. I love the challenge of being able to capture the essence of each style based on the form. and you actually learn a lot about how different styles work themselves out over time and stuff like that by practicing those forms. But anyway, we won't talk about that right now. We will get into that a little bit later when we go into the beginner's corner. So if you want to join our hangout here, we can bring on up to 8 other people right about now. 7, sorry, because there's 2 of us here. So if you want an invitation, all you have to do is, if you're seeing this on Facebook, which you most likely are, if you want an invitation to join us live via video feed and join the conversation about remember your first class and maybe giving some advice to the young belts, send me your email address via private message on my Facebook profile, Restita de Jesus, the profile that you saw this particular link in, and give me your email address and I will send you an invitation and you'll be able to come and join us. So don't email me, because I won't be able to get there right about now. Just send it over to my Facebook. All right. Well, with all that said, I've had a pretty good week too. Yesterday was World Tai Chi Day, and we had a great celebration over at the Seattle Chinese Garden. Perfect weather too for it. It was pretty cool. A lot of people showed up. So yeah, it was pretty cool. I'm still getting uh, a lot of emails with some of the pictures on there. In fact, that was one of the photographers uh, that just sorry, I just got a text from Michelle Manu. And Michelle Manu, for those of you that don't know her, is a wonderful kumu, or teacher of Lua, the Hawaiian art of Lua. And she emailed me some information, Bob, about us being on the Masters Hall of Fame World News.
Okay.
So she gave us some dates in July that actually correspond to Dragon Fest,
Good.
which we'll be talking about a little bit later. And it's she says it's okay, blah 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 blah. You can have whoever come that's involved with Dynamic Dojo to be interviewed with you two or come for support. And I saw Claudia's reply and not sure how you feel about that. Oh, okay. I'll email you later about that, Bob. Okay.
Absolutely. That sounds like a discussion in itself, the way you just said that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I didn't want to give out all the dates and stuff like that. But anyway, listeners out there, viewers out there, stay tuned, because maybe in a few months, Bob and I will be on Martial Arts or Masters Hall of Fame World News. So
you know what, though? If
What's
we
that?
have outtakes with that, I want to see them.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we're going to have outtakes.
I would imagine so, because somewhere we're going to screw it up.
Yeah.
Did you see the outtake she had?
Yes, I thought that was hilarious. And I thought to myself,
my God. There was one line in there, and I thought I was going to wet myself.
Wong Long from Hong Kong?
Yeah, when she said long, I thought I was going to die.
Yeah, I was dying too. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I do bloopers, and half the time I don't even speak. Like the last the indie movie that I was in a few weeks ago, a lot of bloopers, and all you could hear was the F word and the SH word, because I kept messing up my choreography. We both did, so that's all you heard from me. And my eyes rolling, and I'm like, oh, okay, please don't. Please don't. If there's a blooper reel, I want to see it. And drop my weapon a couple times, and here, hold this, Cyril. Oh wait, I'm supposed to have an English accent. Yeah. Okay. So anyhow.
Wait, what?
In the movie, if I were to have spoken, and they were kind of wondering whether or not I should be speaking, I would have been an Asian person that picked up on an English accent, because the movie is set in the 1880s. It's a steampunk type of thingy. Yeah, but anyway, it's set in late 1800s England. London, as a matter of fact. So, anyway, that's all I can say.
Wow. Okay.
That's all I can say, and I'm the boss of the villains that are trying to get to my boss. So, and that's about all I can give.
Well, for those who don't know, the term indie film means independent film, and that usually means no to low pay.
Exactly. Years ago, I had some people going, you should get your headshots and stuff like that. I'm like, nah. No, I'll do indies, because they're fun. I don't want to have to deal with, SAG stuff at the moment. So there you go.
Right. No,
right.
The SAG stuff doesn't come till your middle 50s.
Yeah. Oh, only hearing from Cheryl what SAG is all about. Anyway, let's move on. Okay. Who do we have for birthdays there, Sifu Bob?
Well, we have This is another one that makes me feel old because my sister-in-law was pregnant with her at our wedding. My niece is turning 30 today. Tamara.
Wow.
Turning 30. Jasmine Stones her birthday is also today. Grandmaster Cecil Peoples, his birthday is on the 4th. A good friend of the family, Jean Grossman, her birthday is on the 5th. And Datu Tim Hartman, his birthday is on the 7th. Do you have any on your end?
No, I don't. And I don't have any music to play because we're we're live.
we're not doing the typical audio thing.
Yeah, we're not doing a typical audio thing. However, I do want to play around with this gadget on our control board. This is watch YouTube together type of thing. So I'm trying to see if I can add a video. Let's see on here. Click on add videos to playlist. Oh, here we go. So let me see here if I can find a happy birthday song. Okay. Here, let's try.
Are you muted?
Can you hear that?
Nope.
Oh, I'm the only one. I'm the only one that can see this. This is it's.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me see if I can figure this out. I don't know how to turn it off now. Let's see. Okay. Well, I don't know how to show this video to everybody. Let's see. Let's try it again. But apparently, it's Paul McCartney singing "Happy Birthday."
Wow.
So
that's pretty cool.
I'm surprised you can't see it. So anyway, well, there's got to be a way to do that, but I guess not. Oh wait, hold on. There's a way to do this. Let's share the screen here. How about this?
Okay. No sound.
No sound whatsoever?
None.
Oh my gosh! Oh well, so much for that idea. Oh well. Yeah, boo. Okay. But happy birthday, everybody. So everyone gets a clap, at least. Okay. All right. Let's move on to announcements. So I'll go ahead and start. June 4th and June 18th is the Masters Hall of Fame, and we're having two events this year. June 4th is going to be in San Antonio at the San Antonio Airport Hilton, and the keynote speaker for the June 4th Texas event is going to be none other than Frank Dukes. Now on the 18th of June, Columbus, Ohio at the Sheraton Columbus Hotel in Capitol Square, the keynote speaker there will be Alan Goldberg. Now, if you want to get your tickets to the Masters Hall of Fame event, to either one, just go to mastershalloffame.org. Get your tickets now before they're all gone, because you know what? If you wait until the last minute, folks, you're going to probably be disappointed. We're going to be out of tickets. And I'm not quite sure what the possibility is of Hanshi Dan being able to expand a room. Because I don't know what the hotel looks like. Have you heard about what the hotel?
No, I know they had a huge. They had a huge turnout at the last Texas event. They had like 600-700 people.
Right. So, and yeah, so it's going to be pretty big. All the nominations are rolling.
This year, though, Rusty, I don't plan on doing shit this year. Last year was too much. I did not
right.
enjoy last year. I was doing too much.
Right. No, what I forgot. I kind of blocked it out of my brain. So what did we do? What did you do? What did I do? What did?
Everything.
Oh, okay.
Seating, greeting,
We did seating
handling
too.
stuff.
Oh, we did. We did. That's right. That's
Never
right.
again.
I
This
for,
time I'm going to let Jamie handle it.
I forgot about that. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Let's have Jamie handle it. I'm pretty sure he did. Like at the last one. I mean, you can't have 600 people in a venue without, you know what I mean? So it'll be kind of cool. All right, so let's bring the mic over to Sifu Bob.
Okay. July 9th, Dragon Fest 2016. They are going to have entertainment like taiko drums, the Shaolin monks. They're going to have music. Now, the people who are going to be there are going to be action film stars Albert Leong, Diana Leonosanto, Donnie Williams, TJ Storm, Ron Thomas, Daryl Vidal, and many, many more. The artists and the anime section is going to be Hollis Jewelry, Cane Masters, Traditions, Ninja Turtles cosplay, Dynamic Dojo, and Carol
Woohoo!
Block. The pioneers and icons that will be there. Really short list is Bill Ryazaki, Cecil Peoples. Oh, you're going to love this one. When May You will be there.
Woo!
Yeah, I figured you'd like that one.
Right
Carl
on.
Philip Ree, Leo Fong, Takaboda, and Solomon Kawalu, and a lot more.
Right
And
on.
we are growing so much. We got a bigger place for 2016. They're going to be at the Airtel Convention Center and Hotel located at 7277 Valjean Avenue in Van Nuys. Meet cosplayers, comic book artists, stuntmen, Q&A panels with celebrities, newest movies and anime, book authors, producers, tables filled with toys, t-shirts, posters, jewelry, and more. The hours Saturday, 11 to 6, parking in hotel lot or on the street. Cost early sign up is only $20 after June 15th, and at the door it'll be $25 cash only. Kids under 16 will be $5. For more information, visit museumdragonfest.com. There you go.
Right on. Get your tickets, folks. Right on. All right, I guess it is time for the health news already. All right, so this particular set of health news is about 3 ways that exercise helps your brain. So now we all know that exercise is good for our bodies, squats, sit-ups, push-ups, and stuff. But what about the brain? Now, inside your head, there's about 86 billion neurons designed to bark orders to the rest of your body, all with the help of chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. These neurotransmitters regulate everything from your mood to your sleep cycle to memory and your appetite. Now, what's that to you, you might ask? Well, studies show that low levels of 2 of these neurotransmitters in particular, glutamate and gamma-aminobutyric acid, also known as GABA. Say that 10 times fast. Gamma-aminobutyric acid. Anyway, if you have low levels of those 2 neurotransmitters, it can lead to mood disorders such as depression. Now, here's the good news. Moderate exercise can increase these levels, according to a recent study in the Journal of Neuroscience. The results, whether you suffer from depression or not, is an increased resilience and capacity to respond to mental challenges, a concept known as mental fitness. So, and this was explained by the study author Richard Maddock, MD, who's a research professor at UC Davis Medical Center. Now, this study measured neurotransmitter levels in participants before and after 20 minutes of moderate intensity exercise. So Maddock says it's not clear if lower intensity exercise would have the same effect on glutamate and gamma-aminobutyric acid. But one small study suggests that GABA increases after 12 weeks of practicing yoga. So anyway, what happened to my first one? Anyway, I said there's 3 ways exercise helps your brain, but for some reason I only have 2. Go figure. I'll have to like search for. I'll have to search for that later. Anyway, so let's start with number 2 then. Moderate exercise will banish stress for good. So if you're constantly feeling overwhelmed by the stressors in your life, you might want to step up your fitness routine. Why? When you're stressed out, your brain secretes the fight or flight stress hormone called cortisol. This is good if you're about to get mugged on the street, but if your cortisol levels are chronically elevated, it can cause problems. Studies have linked high cortisol levels to heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, memory loss, and more. So keep that exercise going. Okay,
well, you know one thing, Rusty, though.
What's that?
Memory is always the second thing to go. You just can't remember what the first is.
That's right. That gets one of those. All right. And number 3, you get to age with grace. So it's never too early to think about having a healthy brain as you age, and exercise can help by increasing your cognitive reserve. Translation, your brain will be able to handle the deterioration that comes with age without taking its toll on your memory. Now, number 1, let me pull up the link here. Here we go. Number 1 is nope, that was it. The exercise boosts your mental fitness. I just labeled it wrong. So anyway, all right. So those are the 3 ways that exercise can help your brain. So get out there, folks. Get off your butts. I was going to say get off of your duffs. And it didn't, too many F's. Didn't work.
Oh, you want to hear something about somebody lazy today, Rusty?
Sure.
I picked up this girl from her apartment, drove her 2 blocks to Jack in the Box to go through the drive-thru and drive her back home.
Hold on. Let me process this for a second. You took her 2 blocks from where she was to get to a drive-thru.
Yes.
And you drove her 2 blocks home.
That's right.
Oh,
and I said,
gosh.
And I said, wow, you're feeding your whole family? And she says, no, I'm just hungry. She ordered a full meal. Then she ordered 2 sandwiches on top of that meal. We get to the window, and the guy says, here's your food. Hands her the food. And he said, just a second, you've got another bag. And she said, oh, my God, if I have more than 1 bag, I did order a lot of food. And she had been, and this was about 3 o'clock today.
Wow.
She had been drinking since 6 in the morning. She was already on her 2nd bottle of wine.
So she was drunk when she got in your car.
Well, it was wine, so she was probably really buzzed. But she didn't act like it.
Wow, 2 blocks?
2 blocks.
Okay, you are the weakest link. Yeah. Okay, so get out there, get off of your duffs, folks. It's good for your brain. All right. Let's move on to Bob's Weird News. Woo!
Wow, that was different.
I know, right? Well, we could do this. Let's do this one instead. Drum roll, please. Let's get. Okay.
There you go. Well, crews on Friday finished moving the estimated 60,000-pound carcass of a rotting whale from a Southern California beach.
Oh my gosh.
A contractor working for the state parks department spent 2 days using an excavator to cut up the 40-foot whale, which was hauled off to a San.
Oh, I lost Bob. Oh no, let me get him back. Bob disappeared. Let me go ahead and get him back. Um, I think he might have pressed the wrong button and uh, got himself cut off. So I just sent him an invitation to come back, but I'll go ahead and finish where he left off. So crews on Friday, this past Friday, finished removing an estimated 60,000-pound carcass of a rotting whale from a Southern California beach. A contractor working from the state parks department spent 2 days using an excavator to cut up 40-foot whale, which was hauled off to a San Diego County landfill. Hey, Bob.
What happened?
I don't know. You just disappeared. Nope. You just like left. So I started to read it again, and you left off after it got taken to the San Diego County landfill.
Right.
So go ahead and keep reading.
The 2-day, $30,000 project included skimming the top layer of sand off the lower trestles, a surfing beach near San Clemente, where the whale washed ashore on Sunday. That was to eliminate any sand contaminated by the whale's bodily fluids. As they started to dismember the carcass, they said it was messy, but it wasn't as messy as it could have been. Rich Hayden, area state park superintendent, told the San Diego County Register.
Wow.
It's to be expected there will be a little bit of smell for a little while, he said, but I think we dodged a bullet. The whale was a tourist attraction for a few days, despite the overpowering stench. Some people skipped work or school to snap photos of this with this towering carcass. However, few people were on hand Friday for the finish. Nick Lind of Newport Beach and Matthew Howell of San Clemente were surfing at as the last remnants of the whale were being removed. It did have an interesting stench to it, sort of like a rotten baked potato, Lynn said. It was overpowering when we were near the shore. Lynn said he wasn't worried about sharks that might have been attracted by the whale's remains. Wow.
Check this out. So I don't know if you can see it, folks, but I put up a picture on here of the whale, and it's at this point it's high tide, so it's sitting in a little bit of water, but there are people literally standing around looking at this thing. I mean, can you see it on your end, Bob?
Yeah, I could.
Me? Okay, no, people are looking at it now. Check this out. It gets better. You said earlier that people were, hanging out and taking pictures of it and stuff like this. Well, I mean, really, I mean, people, you're gonna sit next to a rotting whale and take a selfie?
Right. They probably had selfie sticks.
I know. I mean, well, no. I mean, here's this picture. I mean, look at that. Hey, let's bring the whole family down here and take our picture with this rotting, stinky whale. It's just beyond me. Oh my God! But that thing looks huge. 60,000 pounds.
30 tons.
That's crazy. Absolutely nuts. Anyhow. All right. Well, I guess that's it for the weird news, and let's go to the entertainment news. Boom.
Well, it looks like Prince's family has a guardian angel who goes by the name of George Lopez.
Oh.
TMZ learned that the comedian has fronted the money to the family of the singer the family that the singer left behind. Turns out George was
Aw.
tight with Prince, and he learned all the assets in the estate have been frozen until a judge determines how much the administrator can give family members for living expenses. Prince was generous with his family, giving them money and even homes during his life. Some of the singer's siblings are now cash strapped because they have been temporarily cut off. And they've learned that George has advanced them $20,000 to cover living and travel expenses, and that figure could go up. They were told that George did it anonymously, not wanting any fanfare or adulation.
Wow.
You know, why did they even, if George wanted to do it really anonymously, why did somebody disregard that and put this in writing? On a website, anybody can see.
Right. So, and yeah, I mean, and if you wanted to do it anonymously, how, you know, how did how did people like find out about it? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's kind of wild. But I don't know what happened.
What happened where?
My screen decided to do all sorts of weird stuff. That's kind of weird. Okay, let's get out of that. All right. I tried to share the screen and show a picture of George Lopez and Prince, but then it kept doing this like picture within a picture within a picture within a picture within a picture type thing, and it was like, okay, never mind. So I don't know why.
How do you share pictures on here? Do you have just a control board?
Well, I have something called overlay. So, for example, if I want to, toolbox. Let me see here. If I want to put up a picture of like that whale, for example, I can put it up as an overlay like this. And then, yeah, there we go. Or I could just, or I can put on this overlay. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, but I'm wondering why like screen sharing didn't work, because this is what I get. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but watch what happens here. Watch what happens. It just keeps going and going and going, and it just looks so weird. Did you see it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it's kind of wild, but stop. Let's try this again. Google. Wait, hold on. Entire screen. Okay. And now, it just look at that. That's crazy. It just keeps going on and on and on. All right. Anyway. Okay. You know, it's funny. I was going to say stay tuned, folks, because we're going to be right back after a short break, but we can't.
Right.
We can't do that. But I do want to check something out though. We've got something. What?
Because it looks like the charger my phone's plugged into just went south. But I've got 35% charge. That means I may not be able to finish out the show. But I've got 35% charge, so that'll give me like an hour.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be close.
Oh my gosh, okay.
All of a sudden, the little lightning bolt went away, and I'm like, I'm messing with my charger, and it won't come back to life. It's like Frankenstein died.
Oh no. Well, let's see if we can take a little break. We're going to try to look at 10 martial arts fails. Let me see if we can do this. Here we go.
Money. What the hell happened?
Can you see it, Bob? Is it not working? I can see it. But you
see what?
See it? Oh, see, I guess you can't. I was playing a video, And it says that it's presenting to everybody, but I guess not.
No, it went to my home screen. All my icons are gone. All I see is a picture of my granddaughter.
Well, that's weird. But I can still see you.
You can?
So that's good. Yeah. Yeah.
Me or my profile?
No, I can see you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I better not scratch or anything.
Yeah, don't touch nothing. All right, well, let's get right back into the discussion. And the discussion. See, this is weird. I wish I had a way to do breaks on here, but whatever. Okay, I'm pretty sure I could do that if I used another service. I think maybe next month when we do our next Hangout, folks, I might be using Zoom.us. It's kind of like a Hangout thing, but it involves Skype and screen sharing and stuff like that. So it should work a little bit better. All right. So it is Beginner's Corner, folks, and Beginner's Corner is all about asking questions about martial arts if you're a beginner or an intermediate person. Oh heck, even if you're advanced. So if you have any questions and you're watching live, you can hit the Q&A button and you can ask questions there. Or if you can get to the group chat, it's a little blue bubble-looking thing that looks like a speech bubble. You can go to group chat and ask your questions there, or go to my Facebook and private message me some questions. Also, if you want to join this particular discussion and be live with us on video, private message me on Facebook with your email address, and I will send you a invitation. Or if you have a Google account, send me your profile name or whatever. What's weird? What's weird, Bob?
My phone's just acting up. Oh, there we go.
Well, I can still see.
Can you see my profile picture? Just me.
I can see you live. I can
weird
see
because
you.
every time I went to my homepage, it would just show my profile picture.
Well, it should, at least here on Hangouts. If I can see you, then you're broadcasting.
Right.
Nah, I see your thumb. And I see your thumb.
You saw my thumb?
I saw your thumb. So you can go to the group chat, and people can put their questions there, or go to Q&A. Again, that's another little blue box. So anyway, and right now it looks like we're pretty dead. Nobody's watching, but that's okay. Everyone can watch the archived version of this. All right, so I'll go ahead and throw out some questions out there, and if you want to join us, just go ahead and private message me on Facebook, and I'll send you an invitation to come out and join us on video. You want to make sure, though, since it's Google Hangouts, that you have either the phone app Google Hangouts on your phone, or that you're actually on a computer. And you'd need to sign in as you, if you have a Google account, of course, and you can request to be invited via live feed. Okay, so since one of the questions was, do you remember your first day in martial arts? Now, that question was going to go to the beginners, okay? But we're just going to ask each other this, because it's just us right now. And if you want to join us, feel free. All right. So, you know what else we could do? I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to give people a contact number to call, to text, if you want to text in some questions. So here's a number to call, or not call, don't call. Well, I guess you could if you want, but you're not going to actually be on the air. I mean, if anything, I can put you on speaker and stuff like that, but go ahead and text me at 206-249-9030. That's 206-249-9030 with any questions that you might have for Rusty and Bob regarding martial arts in general, if you're a beginner or intermediate student, if you need some tips on something. Okay, 206-249-9030. Okay. So, Bob,
Yeah.
do you remember your very first day in martial arts? Your
Well,
very
you know,
first lesson.
that is a very tough one. I actually
Hmm.
do remember my father and I going in and talking to the instructor, but that
Okay.
was like 40 years ago. That was where, and it was a Korean guy. It was Taekwondo
Mm-hmm.
and very much a traditionalist. In fact, he, my first martial arts instructor just passed away about a year ago.
Hmm.
But I do remember the first session. It was nerve wracking. A lot of people. Back then, it was like the only martial arts school here in town. That was it. One school.
Wow.
You know, that was when the
Wow.
certificates
One.
were pounded out on concrete tablets.
I can't find my rim shot, so that's funny. Oh wait, here we go. Here's a rim shot. There you go. Yeah. Well, I mean, so what did you? Okay, hold on. So when you got into martial arts, was this your desire to learn martial arts, or was this your dad's?
Mine.
Oh, cool. Now, what did you want to learn before you even went in? You were like, I want to learn. What did you want to learn?
I was 10. I was 10, and you're asking me that.
Yeah, well, I
It was,
remember what I wanted to learn, but I'll get into that later. Okay, so then what do you remember anything do you remember any specific classes like in those first weeks?
I do. I remember uh, uh, some of the exercises, not too much of the drills, uh, but I remember some stance work we were doing. This is a very tough individual. Of course, back
Mhm.
then, no parent was like, "What are you doing to my child?" Back then, it was if they did something to you, the parents would be back there, "Do it again."
Oh my gosh. That's funny. Well, I remember my first lesson. Um, and I remember how we got into it. I had always wanted to do martial arts because I used to watch Kung Fu, the original TV series, with my dad, and we both loved it. And I wanted to be like Kwai Chang Caine. I wanted to be exactly like Kwai Chang Caine,
Well,
but without the bounty on my head.
you certainly were more Asian than David Carradine.
That's blood wise, yeah. But he did look Asian.
He
Yeah,
did, didn't he?
he did. Yeah, and
Even with makeup.
yeah, and but what I want to know is back then, why weren't Asian people? Why weren't more Asian people cast as like main characters? You know, they were always like a butler or Kato, you know, or a driver or a waiter. You know what I mean?
That's
Well,
what they
other than
were back then.
yeah, and that
When
was you know with real Asian people when they were actually on film or something that wasn't a martial art film, they were like a sidekick or a service person of some sort, right? They weren't like a main type character. And even then, the Charlie Chan series was played by a white guy.
yeah,
Nothing against Caucasians, but it's like, you know, back then, why couldn't you have just hired an Asian person? I don't understand that. Maybe we should talk about that on a separate show, on a separate audio show. Why Asian actors, you know, only seem to be in martial arts films and stuff like that. You know, I don't know. We'll have to get into that. But anyway, I wanted to be like Kwai Chang Caine, um, but without the bounty on my head.
Yeah.
and and um, there came this point where my mom found out that there was free karate lessons at a community center only 3 blocks away from our house. So she jumped on it. She's like, "Oh, the girls can learn discipline and all this other cool stuff." So she came home and said, "Hey, do you guys want to learn karate?" And we jumped at it because we wanted to be like that kung fu guy. So we went to our first lesson, and you know how when you like look forward to something so much that you're nervous, but you're not. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
you're looking forward to it. You're so excited that your stomach's turning over and stuff like that. Well, that was me and my sister, and we had all these expectations. I expected some Asian guy to come in, right? And instead, there was this tall, lanky Caucasian
White
guy that came in.
Bob Hill,
Say
yeah.
what? What's
This
that?
tall, lanky white dude.
Yeah,
Grandmaster Hill. Yeah.
yeah. A tall, lanky white dude came in. Actually, it was Sensei Peter Gurney.
Oh, it wasn't
Um,
Bob Hill?
no, I didn't meet him until I was a green belt, or no, a
Oh,
purple belt.
because he's another tall, lanky white dude.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Sensei Gurney, this tall, lanky white dude, comes in, and he wasn't in his karate gi yet. He was carrying a backpack, and I remember exactly what he was wearing. He was wearing brown corduroy bell bottoms and
Really?
sandals. Yeah, sandals. And I don't remember the color of the t-shirt, but I could swear it was light green and a light brown like overshirt. It wasn't a coat. It was like an overshirt, and his sleeves were rolled up. He was carrying a backpack, and he had long hair. He looked like Jesus, basically, right?
Ah,
And he goes, "Are you girls here for the karate class?" And we said, "Yeah." So he's like, "Okay, I'll be right back." And then about 5 minutes later, he comes back, and there he is in his crisp white heavyweight karate gi and a black belt. And about a dozen other kids started filing in, kind of looking around like, "Where do we go? What do we do?" and stuff like that. So that was generation one for Sensei Gurney's Beacon Hill class, because that was his first solo class. He had gotten a grant to be able to teach at Jefferson Community Center. So everything that we got at that time was free. The karate gis, all the way down to the heavyweight ones. By the time I made it up to brown belt, are protective shin pads, and these are not like the cool soccer shin pads that people wear nowadays for like you know MMA practice sparring and stuff like that. These things were basically made out of canvas and little thin pieces of foam, and the pieces of foam, I swear to God, were only about this thick. It wasn't very thick at all. Um, and so everything was free, even down to testing and the belts and stuff like that. But um, anyway, I remember that first class. The first thing we learned was Kibadachi, Seiken Ski, and Jodan Uke. And we just did that over and over, and then we
mhm.
did some other like fun game at the end of class. I forgot what it was. Oh no, we also learned Maigeri and Yokogeri. So we learned front kick and side kick. Um, and that was a pretty fun class. And boy, I tell you what, after that night, my sister and I were constantly at the library, checking out books on karate, martial arts, and ninjutsu, kung fu, you name it. And we read. Our goal was to learn anything and everything about martial arts. We checked out every corny B-rated kung fu flick there was, up until up until she quit, and I was still like checking out all sorts of like crazy movies and stuff up until I got my black belt. But the first thing I wanted to learn, what I really wanted to learn, because I thought it was real. What I wanted to learn was to be able to just strike somebody and send them flying across the room like Kwai Chang Caine used to, right?
Really?
Just one hit, boom,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what I think is funny, speaking of the Kung Fu TV series, whenever he did a palm strike, it was always like a front or side view where he would like palm strike somebody, and then you'd see the slow motion of some cowboy dude, falling, off of a horse hitching post or something, or falling
Right.
into the bar, and breaking all sorts of, old timey whiskey bottles and stuff like that. But then in the new TV series, the first new TV series, every time he would do a palm strike, it was like the signature move, kind of like the spinning hook kick that Chuck Norris had in every one of his movies. You knew you were effed up when you saw this.
Right.
All right. Anytime you saw Kwai Chang go like this, whoa, right? You get that. Wait, there it is. Bam! And you knew you were out. And I thought that was really funny how they used that as a signature, but they didn't in the original TV series. But anyway, that's what I wanted to learn. But instead we learned front kick, side kick, forward punch, horse stance, and upward block. That was it's about as boring as you can get, but I thought it was really cool. I mean, do you remember being a beginner at all? I mean, how excited you were, coming to class.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I mean, it's pretty cool. Now, I'm going to send another shout out there for anyone that wants to join us. Hey, if you're watching live and you want to join the Beginner's Corner and Flashback weekend, if you get this, if you came to this via Facebook, which you probably did, go ahead and send me a private message on Facebook and give me your email address, and I can send you an invitation. Or if you don't want to do that, you can straight away here on the Hangout, you can hit the chat button or the Q&A button and ask us questions there. So I'm calling out all of the beginner, intermediate, intermediate to advanced, and advanced martial arts students out there. If you have any questions about training or anything like that, not necessarily style specific, because we might not know your style, feel free to get a hold of us on the Q&A board there on our marquee right now. All right, no questions. I think everyone's having dinner right now because it's Sunday and it's 7. And come on, folks, come join us. Anyhow, all right. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to field some questions from some random martial arts forums on the web, and see if me and Bob can answer them. All right. Oh, here's a good one. Is it too late to start martial arts? Okay. This person on the forum says, first of all, I'm 19 years old and want to get into martial arts for the sport, training, and self-defense. Would it be too late to get into it? That's a great...
Absolutely not.
All right. So, go right into it, Bob. Go ahead.
It's never too late. I've seen guys start in their 60s.
Right? Mm-hmm.
And he's only 19. Run to a trainer, run to a coach, run to a sensei, run to a seafood, run to somebody. Get started today.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. 19, that's actually a pretty average age, right? A lot of people nowadays tend to think that you have to be like 5 years old to get into martial arts, and that's not the case.
No,
I mean, at 3 or 4 or 5 years old, I mean, you're getting like, the very bare bones basics of martial arts, okay, folks? I mean, you're learning social skills, how to interact with other kids and adults. You're also learning, how to take turns, how to be a good sport and not get all pissed off when you lose, right?
Yeah, but you know what? My wife still says I need to work on my social skills.
She's going to have to take you back to preschool class then, right?
Exactly. That's what she says. My social skills suck.
It's because you have no filter. Bob has no filter. And also, if you're like, preschool age, you're also learning patience, Yeah. See, you know what? You sound like the type of kid I would have not wanted to teach when I was 18, because my patience level back then was like nil.
Right,
Because
right.
back then I was still full of piss and vinegar. And if there was some little kid that was whining and had no patience and got all pissed off because they lost or whatever, I would have said, "Get out of my I would get out of my
I know, right?
class." Get out. But
Well, see, I saw something the other day that really sparked my funny bone. It was really funny.
huh.
It had a picture of a kid with shaving cream all over their face and head, and
Huh.
the caption read, "Silence is golden, except when you have children. Then it's suspicious."
Oh man. Yep. So, yeah, definitely it's not too late.
No,
No, I mean, 10 is a good average age if you're a kid. However, 19, I would say would probably be better because, you know, you've already gone through like the whole like, primary school, middle school, and high school thing. So you have a sense of study skills. Okay, you have a sense of I have to listen to the teacher. Well, it might not it might not have stuck, but
right,
at least
right.
you have a sense of that, right? Um, and your body is, at its latent stages of growing,
You know what?
because I know guys don't stop growing until they're almost like what 21, 25, or something like that. Um, you don't stop growing when you're 18, folks. You just turn into adult, but I think you keep growing. But you're at the later stages of your growth process. So when it comes to training, at 19 years old, 20 years old, you can do a lot of the stuff that probably would not have been so healthy if you were like, 8 years old, 10 years old, like makiwara training, right? Pounding your fist into something and hardening your hands and stuff like that. I mean, I don't consider that very healthy for kids that are still growing, right? Because I'm a firm believer in that can affect your bone structure and stuff like that. But that's just me, and I and I just think that there are some people out there that should be little Shaolin monks and do that head kung fu type stuff. But but yeah, it's not too late. 19's a perfect age. So anyway, here's another question. It's in regards to um, overbearing teachers. So I'm going to go ahead and read this, and this is off. This is coming off of MartialTalk.com, and to protect privacy, I'm going to leave the name withheld. But this is something that we should talk about, folks, because you know a lot of people outside of the martial arts tend to think that martial arts is it's all about fortune cookie spouting Asian masters and be one with the universe and stuff like that, which it is, right? And then there are people that think that all martial arts is violence, which it's not. But we have to talk about stuff like this. So anyway, again, this comes off of Martial Talk. Okay, the original poster says, about 6 months ago, my 9-year-old son joined a local martial arts group. Until a recent event occurred, I was reasonably happy with how the instructor ran the classes, although I find authoritarianism, which seems to go with it, a little bit strange. I say strange because this is not how my son would be taught at school or how he has been taught in any other out-of-school activities that he has done and still does pursue. Okay, the circumstances of this event were as follows. I arrived at the class with my son. As we walked in, I noticed the instructor was lying on the floor in front of the class with his feet resting on the crouched body of one of the children. There were giggles and laughter from that child, the other children in the class, and from the 3 or 4 parents that were there. Oh, okay, got it. The instructor said to my son, "Oh, you're late, come here." I don't think we were late because the class hadn't yet started. He instructed my son to crouch down so he could rest his head on my son's back. Most of the children in the class are also my son's schoolmates. This all happened so quickly that although I felt uncomfortable about it, I didn't know how to react before I left. I had to leave straight away to collect another one of my children. What are you doing, Bob?
What do you mean, what am I doing?
I can hear like this weird funky sound like this.
Oh, well, I'm sort of driving right now because I had to plug my phone into my car.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It'll be done soon. I just went over a rough patch of road.
Oh, okay. All right. Now, so here we go. We got the karate instructor or whatever saying, "Oh, hey, you're late. Come here. Let me rest on your back." Okay. Now here's the father speaking. Subsequently, on reflection, I felt very angry about what had happened. This action had humiliated my son and myself. My son had taken part in many out-of-school activities over the years and have only once before had a problem, which was dealt with immediately and professionally by the activity leader concerned. I am not a serial complainer, mind you, he says. My son was embarrassed by this event. Neither one of us wanted to attend the following week's lessons and chose not to go. My son wishes to continue with this particular martial art and wishes to attend this particular class because a number of his friends go there. There is no other provider of this particular martial art in our region. Because this is what my son wants, I intend to take him back to this class. I emailed the instructor 2 days ago to complain about what I feel is an important child safeguarding issue. I have not had a reply. I have a feeling I will not get a reply. And he asked, what I want to know is, 1, am I overreacting? 2, am I being too proud? 3, is this sort of thing normal in martial arts classes? And 4, how would you feel if this was your child? So that's a good one. That's a good one. Well, let's ask you this question, Bob. Is your mic on?
Oh no, it wasn't. So where did you get that question?
This is actually a post on martialtalk.com.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
I have real mixed emotions because that was not a disciplinary action. That was a humiliation action. And I don't agree with it. And I think the instructor should be talked to about his humiliating behavior towards the children. Because these aren't teenagers. They're young, impressionable kids.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Discipline's one thing. Embarrassment's something completely different. These kids can be scarred.
Yeah, but see, one thing that got me was that one thing that I didn't understand was the original poster said this situation humiliated my son and myself, and that kind of put up a red flag with me because okay, because the first thing that came to my mind was, oh, is this a guy living vicariously through his son? You see what I'm saying? So I was like, well, how did that action humiliate the father? And they came in, after the whole thing started. So there had to have been something. There's a hole in here somewhere that this guy might have missed, that both the boy and the father might have missed, because here's one kid that's squealing with laughter, thinking it's the funniest thing since sliced bread, right? But I guess I just want to know why the father thought he was being humiliated. Now here's the thing. I think in this case the father should talk to the instructor in person. Don't email him, because I'll speak for on a business end on email. If you email me, if I happen to hear the notification, I will get to it right away. But most times I only check my email maybe twice, right? And if I'm really busy, I'll only check it once a day. And like yesterday, I had to answer an email that came in the day before, and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't see that, right? Now the thing is if you are going to talk to any instructor about any problem that you have, okay, and this goes out to the parents, okay, Like I said, do try to talk to the instructor in person. I mean, I know I would appreciate that rather than, trying to extrapolate what your concerns are out of an email where I can't see your face, where I can't hear your, vocal intonations and stuff like that. Now, if you approach the instructor, be calm, have your ducks in a row, and know exactly what you're going to say, have your thoughts in order, rather than going in there and start yelling and screaming and carrying on and acting like a fool, right? Also, I suggest that, after you know, say your piece, to actively listen, to actively and exactly listen to the instructor's response instead of holding on to you suck and I don't care what you say, I'm pulling my kid out of this class. Because you know what, depending on the school, threatening to pull your kid out of a class, isn't really going to hurt anybody, especially if you're going to talk to an instructor like that, right? I love it when people, I'm going to pull my kid out of your class, as if your tuition is going to keep my school open, type of thing, right? Um, I've never had anything happen like that before. Have you, Bob? Bob, are you
No,
still there? Oh, okay.
I'm still here. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
nothing like that's ever happened. Uh, of course, I was a backyard school and didn't teach kids.
Right. Right.
Big
Right.
difference when they're grown men and they do expect to be coddled every now and then, though, as grown men. I'm like, you're a grown ass man, get over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Now
I,
I'm
even the
figuring.
grown men, I would never do something like that to embarrass them.
Hmm.
Now, my
Right.
family, that's a different story.
Yeah. Now,
It's like
d-
when we were starting the show and Bree was doing all this funny stuff, and she said, "Dad, that's an invasion of privacy." When it ended up on the show, so my family stopped doing funny stuff because if they did funny stuff, it ended up on our show, right? So
right.
I Bree said, "Dad, that's invasion of privacy." I said, "Move out."
Well, I guess it still would be invasion of privacy because personal privacy. It doesn't really matter,
I
if
didn't,
she's at
and
home.
the funny thing was, though, Rusty didn't care. It was funny.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, although I will have to say I have thought about this. Whenever I laughed at stuff, what if your family pulled up really funny stuff about you and like blabbed it all over the net and said stuff like, yeah, and he's just like that, he's kind of stupid like that because he's a guy, that kind of thing, right? I mean, well, you'd agree with it.
Yeah, of course. What the hell's your point?
Well, my point is that you were talking to a teenage girl. Teenage girls think everything is an invasion of privacy.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. I, if I
right,
if I say she's doing great in school, that's an invasion of privacy. Oh, by the
right.
way, she had her picture taken because she's the called the top of the tribe. She's top 10 people in her entire school. I
Uh-huh.
didn't even mention that, but that's invasion of privacy.
Oh, well, she'll get over it when she's not a teenager anymore.
Yeah, so when she's moved out and gone to UCLA, she'll get over it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, back to this situation with the instructor
Yeah.
putting his feet up on a student or whatever. I mean, honestly, I think that the father and his son um, came in, after it started, and it looks like it started in the spirit of fun. So I don't know if the joking just kind of happened, and the instructor just assumed that the kid would like catch on to the fun, right? Oh, here, let me rest my head on you, that kind of thing, right? Not so much humiliation like, here, let me put my feet on you like you are a footstool, you little knave, that kind of thing.
Right.
um yeah, I don't, I would doubt that that's why they did it, and it was before class, not during class. Now, it'd be one thing though if a teacher just completely laid into a student in the middle of class. Like, no, that's wrong. How could you be so stupid? I don't even know. You're not going to make it past yellow belt and this and that and the other. I mean, that's humiliation. And
Yes.
that I wouldn't stand for. If my kid was dealing with that kind of stuff, I'd be pulling my kid out, without telling the instructor that I'm pulling my tuition out. And I'm talking to the instructor myself. Period. I mean, it's like,
Right.
don't humiliate my child like that. But anyhow, anyway, that was kind of a cool thing. Now, here's another question. This just popped into my mind because, earlier I'd asked if there were anyone out there that remembered their first day of class and what did you actually want to learn and what did you really learn, what made you get into martial arts and stuff like that. This next question is like, well, if you're not in martial arts anymore but still following it, why did you quit? That's a question that always pops up into my head because I know a lot of people that have quit martial arts. I've had a few people quit my classes, but they still follow MMA. They still like watching martial arts movies. They still know what's going on in karate and judo and jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. And it makes me wonder, well, you're really hip on all this stuff, so why did you quit? So yeah, it's and I can't answer that because I haven't, and you can't answer that either, Bob, because you haven't. But I'm curious, if you're still, this goes to all the watchers out there. Yes, this means you. If you had quit martial arts, but you're still interested in it, and you still follow MMA and stuff like that, why did you quit? So, give us a request to join the live feed here, so that way you can answer that question. Also, if you want to text in any questions, okay, give us a call here. Not a call, don't call, because I'm not going to be able to answer it. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to answer it. Give us a call at 206-249-9030. You can text it, and I'll get your texts. So there you go. All right. Let me close out some windows here. And what I completely lost the. Sorry, that was Chinese for I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
No.
Okay. Oh, okay. Here's a good question. Cross training. Not sure if Olympic weightlifting is going to be a good cross training medium for martial arts. What do you think?
No.
Okay. Now, why do you think so?
If they're talking true Olympic, if they're talking powerlifting, deadlifting, unless you're absolutely working in the right way and stretching your muscles where you look still skinny and lanky, see, the more muscle you build, Rusty, the shorter your techniques are going to be.
Right.
It's making you muscle bound. Now, if you're weightlifting, right, absolutely, that's a great cross training. The word that bothered me was Olympic.
Right. Right.
Because that tells me you're going to be bulking up.
Right. Well, this person is 5'5", 175 pounds. He's already competing in Olympic weightlifting at 169 kilos, and he's been doing this seriously for about a year. And he was also previously a distance runner, and then he got into powerlifting. So, and he says that he wants to be able to defend himself, and he wants more discipline. And he's got a herniated C6 from from bench pressing, like way years ago, and he's worried about having his neck grabbed and pulled. So I guess that rules out judo, jiu-jitsu, and stuff. But he says he says he really likes Muay Thai, and he's given some like conditions according to his schedule. He says that um, with his schedule, he can study Muay Thai 2 or 3 times a week. He can study BJJ once or twice a week, depending on his work. Maybe even Krav Maga classes 1 to 3 times per week, depending on work schedule. Judo only once a week because the judo dojo in his part of town is in a far, far, quote unquote, terrible part of the city, and he'd be walking through it or on the bus at night. So he's kind of like, yeah, I don't know if I want to go there, going into the hood, basically. So yeah. Now, powerlifting. I mean, I've seen some of these powerlifters, right? I mean, I don't do Olympic weightlifting, obviously, and they're huge people.
Yes.
They're huge, huge people. However, I guess what I want to know is there really such a thing as being muscle bound? Because
Yes.
I've seen like, Olympia, Mr. Olympias and, Atlas type bodies and stuff that really flexible. They can drop into the splits, they can put their arms behind their back and do all sorts of wonky stuff that I can't even do. And I have no muscles, right? So, I
Right.
mean, is it really true or fair to say that, weightlifting will make you muscle bound? I guess. I guess that's my question.
Well, weightlifting, there is a muscle bound. You can become muscle bound. Now, the way that works is because my mother, when she lived in Minnesota, that's where the Philadelphia Eagles practiced, right?
Uh-huh.
And their muscle boundness was they had to, if they were going to a formal event, they
Mhm.
could not reach up to tie their own tie. They had to have
Well,
another
that's
guy tie their tie. And it was
well,
because of
that's
muscle boundness, they weren't flexible enough.
yeah. That's because they're that's because their biceps are in the way.
Exactly. Well,
But
that's muscle bound.
yeah, yeah. Well, but a lot of people tend to look at muscle bound as, you know, like you said, your techniques are shorter. Well, if his arms like, 20 inches long, it's still gonna be 20 inches long if he punches. So it's like, wow. But I'm curious though, since we're on this subject, because I've always wondered about that, because I don't have to worry about me being muscle bound because I don't have the genes for it, right? Um, there's there's an article about muscle bound, and let me read this here real quick. The myth of being muscle bound keeps coming up again and again. I know that it is ingrained into public perception and will be slow to change. However, to try and do my part, as if all the research and studies done by credible researchers and studies weren't enough, I had one of my students post some old pictures of me in the galleries. They are posted under the name Uke's mom, since her teenage son Jordan is the assistant in one picture. The muscle posing in some of the gym shots from back when I was a competitive bodybuilder and powerlifter. Um, He's now about the same body fat percentage and roughly about 10 pounds of muscle heavier, though not shaved down, and am now white as a ghost with no tan. There's also a picture with me doing a jump split kick from 1999, right before I injured my knee. Um, there is also a picture of a vertical roundhouse kick that was actually held for the picture. Um, which was actually pretty recent. Okay, the author says, I have always and will continue to preach that a properly designed and executed program of progressive resistance training is among the most valuable tools for a martial artist who wishes to increase their physical capabilities, as it is in cardio and stretching. I'm always reading posts from people who claim that if you get too big, it will impair your flexibility. Can these guys even button their shirts and make you unable to move? And that's where people are getting the myth. You can't move if you got muscles. Unfortunately, I can't demonstrate my speed by a picture, but as far as agility, flexibility, and athleticism goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Just for the record, the author says, in posting this, my intent is not to say what a good boy I am, but rather when I was coming up, many of the top competitors used to preach the old myths against weight training as a tool for martial artists. Through most of my teens, I was impressionable and went by what my heroes at the time, like Benny Urquidez and Bill Wallace, told me was the best ways for aspiring martial arts champions to train with. In my later years, I saw people like Billy Blanks, pre-Taibo, and when one martial arts article dubbed him Karate's Incredible Hulk, and Steve Nasty Anderson, who were low-level bodybuilders and strength athletes as well as black belts. I noticed that they had an awesome domination of the USA tournament circuit based mostly on their superior athletic capabilities. This started me doing actual research rather than just listening to others' opinions. I found that the actual research showed that, unlike the myths, with a proper program, weight training would increase not only strength but speed and stretch too. I then went on and field tested this and started winning in both forms and full contact kumite competitions. I did find myself getting disqualified for excessive contact in point sparring. In fairness to the weights, I could have used better control if I had really wanted to. We used to call point fighting a legal way to knock somebody out. Even more than the weights. This even motivated me to choose EX Phys as my major. You can go too far on these kicks though. The market value on this wasn't that high. That's why I later went back to a second degree. I don't know why he wrote all that blah blah blah. Anyway, I really just hope that some of the people out there using forums and social media as a place to gain knowledge and on training will see these photos and maybe read this post and hopefully not have the myths limit their growth as it has with so many others. At least to know that they too can have the best of both worlds, and these characteristics are not mutually exclusive as many people still think. If I can do it, so can you. Success leaves tracks that you can achieve. Now I want to know where these pictures are. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find these photos. I don't see any photos. Huh. No photos. Anyway. Okay. So, now I'll go ahead and answer the question about is Olympic powerlifting a good cross training thing. Well, you know, they do similar stuff in CrossFit. You will do some level of powerlifting as part of your workout of the day. Period. There's going to be some type of power move. I mean, if you're not doing, you know, your squat thrusts or your, you know, pumping those big wagon wheels and stuff like that, you're going to be doing deadlifts. I've got a lot of friends on Facebook and here in Seattle that do CrossFit, but it's not, the powerlifting is not their sole thing. You know, for their workout of the day, they'll do their power lifts and then they'll do their other stuff, right? Whatever's on the list for that day. And And I think personally, if you're going to be doing martial arts, that you should be doing something similar because you want to have, you know, your muscles to be used to the different types of movements that martial arts demands. I mean, the powerlifting I think would be great, you know, for, you know, getting power in your legs if you're going to do, you know, shoots, if you're going to shoot in and pick someone up and suplex them or something, you know. For throws, you're definitely going to need, you know, a good core strength and good legs to be able to do a hip throw or a, you know, that kind of thing. But you also need the explosiveness that wind sprints will give you, that, you know, lunge jumps will give you, you know. So, you know, definitely I think something like CrossFit or a, not necessarily CrossFit, but something that involves like P90X. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Something like P90X that you know, I don't know if P90X involves like deadlifts or something like that. I do know that, you know, when I was doing a lot of high intensity interval training at BMA, we used to have the bar and the weights set up for the circuits depending on the day, but you only had like, you know, 20 to 30 seconds to do something. So you had at the most maybe one deadlift, and we didn't allow people to go past, a certain weight, because we didn't want you to. We figured that if you had to put on a weight belt, then it's too heavy and it's not going to be good for you for HIIT training. So, that's what we tended to do, because it just made more sense, right? I mean, if all you're going to do is powerlifting, then that's what you're going to be good at. You're not going to have the speed. You might still have the length in your reach and stuff like that for striking, but you're not going to have the same explosiveness in your legs. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So, do I
Right.
agree with Bob? Yes, I do. That if that's all you do, then it's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be uh, uh, a thing. However, it all depends on how you train. So if you're doing a lot of that explosiveness training in your martial art, then looking at powerlifting as an extra tool, then go for it. But if you're going to be doing powerlifting only and not so much of the other stuff, then yeah, probably not so much.
But it is funny
Anyhow,
that you mentioned his herniated disc.
right?
When I was in physical therapy for my herniated disc, I said, "What
Hmm.
is wrong with me?" I used a leg press 700 pounds, and my physical therapist looked me in the eye and she said, "And why do you have a herniated disc?"
Yeah, that's exactly it. A bad form, or just one muscle that just wasn't, tense at the right time. I mean, like, I like my business partner Cheryl. I mean, she threw out her back just sneezing, just because she was turned the wrong way.
Right,
I mean,
I've done
literally,
that.
she just threw herself out.
Yeah,
And a couple years ago, I don't know if you remember, but I threw my neck out when I had one of those bad colds, and I sneezed and I was sitting wrong, and I threw my neck out.
right.
And I couldn't, like, I couldn't do anything. I was like, what's going on? And it's just crazy how our bodies are, isn't it? It's just wow, just really kind of fun. Really fun. All right. Okay. Here's a new question from in the beginner's corner. Um, this person is just starting to learn kung fu, and well, let me go ahead and read this. I'm just beginning to learn kung fu. Today was my first day of training, and I want to ask for any advice that you might have for me. I want to focus on animal styles such as the snake and the crane. I am training myself at home. Oh, wait a minute.
Uh,
I am planning on taking it slow. My main question is, what is the first thing I should begin to learn? Would it be balance or a different thing? Okay, I'll start.
please do.
You want to know the first thing that you want to have? Okay. First thing you should do is find a school.
Yeah.
Find a school. Find an instructor. Your turn, Bob.
Well, it's not like she's or he is learning how to straight punch. You can learn focus punches. You can learn some stances. Pause. They might not be 100% right,
Right.
but you're talking an intricate animal system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, are you insane? Go
Right.
find a qualified instructor. Go
Yeah.
find a
I mean,
school that can teach you snake, crane, tiger.
yeah. Yeah. It's like, especially snake.
Yeah,
He in wushu was hard enough for me to learn, and that's why I just gave up on it. Sifu Hong taught me He, and I I I can do it, but it's really tough. I mean, I personally think it wore me out more than Long Fist did. I
oh,
loved it. I love the movement, but it's a lot of core. It's a lot of core, a lot of bringing the energy up from the legs, ping, like that, and it's just it's so hard. Uh, Tiger and crane, like Hungar forms. I mean, you really need an instructor to train you in stances. Mabu, Dingbu, Xiabu. You need to learn those things. You need to learn the the jargon that goes with it. Just like I said, mabu, dingbu, shabu, pulbu, that kind of stuff. You need to learn that jargon if you want to learn kung fu. You can't learn like YouTube kung fu, YouTube do,
Oh, YouTube doll, yeah.
YouTube do. Um, but now here's the thing though, because when I was doing Iaido, um, and when I was moderating swordforum.com, I got a lot of questions from people that asked, well, there is no Iaido or Kenjutsu or Kendo dojo near me. What can I do? And I know how that goes. If you're living in the sticks somewhere and your family doesn't have a car, or you're not old enough to drive or whatever, and the next school is like 100 miles away, literally, then you're kind of
You're
SOL.
SOL, yes.
Yeah, you're kind of SOL. However, in a situation like that, and this is what I told the guy, I said, in a situation like that, then it's possible to learn basics from YouTube videos. However, before you even do that, I must ask that you at least make some type of email correspondence with a teacher in your state and tell them your predicament, and say and ask, what kind of gear do I need? Because you want the best gear possible. You don't want to get, the wall hanger samurai sword and expect to practice with that. Number one, they're sharp. Number two, they're made with a rat tail tang and they'll break and then you'll cut yourself or kill somebody else or whatever. I forgot what else I said. You want the best quality equipment if you're going to learn Iaido. Don't think that you can do it with a sharp sword. Don't be stupid. And this was like a 23-year-old guy, so he wasn't like 14 or 15. I would expect a 14 or 15-year-old to want to learn Iaido and go and buy like a sharp sword from like Asian World of Martial Arts or something like that.
Right,
Some cheap,
right,
$40 sword, and then have it break, right? Or cut himself right down to the bone or something, right?
right.
But and I also told him, and also see what kind of possibility there would be to make a trip out to his dojo once a month, once a month, and that you would practice exactly what he taught you for that month. It's going to take you a longer time to learn Iaido, but let's face it, you're going to get really good at what your sensei taught you until you go back for the next month, right? I mean, really good at it.
Yes.
So, it's much better to go that route rather than trying to get on YouTube and learn, because sorry, I mean, you look up Iaido on YouTube and there's going to be a bajillion different things up there, right? Yeah, and don't try to teach yourself from books. you know don't try to, don't kid yourself into thinking, oh well, I did like karate for 8 years, therefore I know how to handle a sword. No, you don't. Sorry, no, you don't. I mean, have you seen? So I've seen some of these videos of people that do these, you know, flashy, samurai sword forms and stuff like that, and they're throwing it, and they're doing what I hate seeing people do with a scream of sticks. They twirl it with only two
Oh,
fingers
yeah,
like this. I hate it when they do that. I'm like, oh, you're just asking to be disarmed, right?
right.
Um, you know, or they'll do like wushu moves with a Japanese sword. That really irks me for some reason. Don't do Chinese movements with a with a Japanese sword, because that's just not how Japanese swordsmanship works. If you want to learn Iaido, then learn from a teacher.
That's
And
right.
and that's
Years
it.
and years ago, this happened to
Yeah.
me. I was teaching at a fencing school here in town.
Mhm.
I was holding one of my sticks. There's this guy, this good-looking guy, sort of charismatic. Had his head up his ass.
Mhm.
Because he looks at me and says, "Oh, a Screamon." I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I
Mhm.
know a Screamon." I said, "Really? Who was your teacher?" "Oh, I'm self-taught." I'm like, "Grab your stick." Let's par. Because I
I'm
was
face palming.
teaching these guys to flip the
Face palm.
sticks and all this crap. Oh my God. I wanted
Wow.
to take him out and kill him.
Well, I mean, I would too, in just on the inside, because it's kind of like, not that I would really kill anyone, viewers. I would never really kill anyone just because they say they know something, even though they don't, right? But it more so it kills me inside. I go, really? Really? I didn't I didn't get like a bunch of dislocated fingers and get hit in the hand so many times and hit in the teeth and locked up in get my neck locked up in sticks for I don't know how many years to have some guy say, "Oh, I'm self-taught."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, give me a break. So, but but that's where education comes in, folks, and that's exactly what this particular podcast is about, is to educate the beginners. Okay, I do want to talk a little bit more about that. Don't say that you know something when you really don't, because in martial arts, yes, things can apply to other things, right? That's what we say, what me and Bob say in Filipino martial arts. If you know solo baston, you know doble baston. If you know, and if you know doble baston, you're learning pangamut and you're learning trapping and panantukan and stuff like that. It all applies. However, you have to learn the basics first with the weapon. At least how it is in eskrima, and then you learn the concept behind the movement, and then you learn the body mechanics behind it, and then and only then can you apply it to a pool cue, beer bottle, magazine, knife, pen, whatever, Gatorade bottle. Only then can you apply it. So you can't say I've done karate or kung fu for 4 years, 5 years, or whatever, and say I know how to use a sword, unless you were taught sword. And even then, just because you learn Chinese sword doesn't necessarily mean you know Japanese sword either. Okay? And
Right.
and I'm sorry, watching Samurai Champloo and Toshiro Mifune movies will not teach you Japanese swordsmanship. Sorry. You find a teacher. Find a teacher, folks. I'm talking in terms of Iaido here. Find a teacher that knows what they're doing. You know, um, don't just yeah. And you know what else? You know what kind of gets me too, Bob?
Huh.
Are I've heard of like teenagers doing this, right? They'll like form these little like fight clubs, right? Remember like years ago when WWE was at its prime,
Oh
right?
yeah.
When Hulk Hogan and um, Randy Savage and all those guys were still big, Jimmy Snuka
Yeah.
and all those guys. There were kids that would set up these little fight clubs, and they would actually do these like wrestling matches. They would actually cut up their parents, picnic tables and stuff like that, just so they can get up on a ladder and pile drive someone in it, and just so it would break. And so that way they could practice their acting and this and that and the other. Because when I grow up, I want to be a professional wrestler, right?
Right.
And kids were killed. Kids were breaking their necks.
Yes.
Kids were breaking bones everywhere. Kids were getting killed because of these little wrestling fight clubs. And I hear on a lesser state of people going around and not necessarily, doing these fight clubs, but challenging people from other martial arts, the self-taught people, you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
like I'm going to challenge this kung fu guy, and it's like, well, he knows how to use a sword and you don't, and swinging it around and twirling it and doing all sorts of Samurai Champloo moves. That's not swordsmanship. And it drives me crazy when people say they know this weapon or that weapon, or I know eskrima, I'm self-taught, And what gets me even more is that they'll start to cite supposed sources of people that taught themselves. Well, Bruce Lee taught himself. Yeah, but he did a martial art for a
Right.
while, and he was good at it. right? He was a natural, you know. Not everyone's a natural, you know. Um, and what also gets me are people that think they're better than they really are. And it's
Yes.
like, really, you know. And these same people are like, well, you know, if you can't show me anything good, then you don't deserve to be my teacher. What? You don't want to do basics? You want to you want to get cut right to the chase and get to the meat without doing the basics. Well, you know, I've met a few people like that. And to those people, I say, well, it's either you learn basics or I don't teach you. And, you know, some people will walk right out my door, which is fine with me, or they realize that they need to learn basics because my students are kicking their butts. So, so it's like, you know, what do you want to do? You know, so, you know, students out there, listen to Bob and Rusty. Okay, practice your basics, and if you're going to learn something, try to find a teacher. And in regards to this guy wanting to learn kung fu, um, another thing you might want to try, and this is just something that came to me, is get a bunch of your friends together that are willing to pay like a $50 fee or something, and ask if the teacher of the school that you want to learn from, ask if the teacher will come to you for a seminar, right? So maybe every 3 months, have them come up to do a seminar for you, or spend a weekend out there for you. Spend $175 or something, and you've got something for like 2 or 3 months that you guys, as a club, can work out together. And as you get older, and you know, and are more able to travel, then you can travel to be with your teacher more often. I mean, there are ways, folks. You know, don't rely on YouTube, because that would drive me insane.
Yeah, the YouTube dojo.
The YouTube dough. Ex- exactly. All right. Um, let's look for another question here. Um,
Oh
all right.
no. Oh no.
This is a no joke. This is no joke. I have to read this, okay? Okay. This is no joke. And, you know, kudos. I want to send a shout out to MartialTalk.com. I belong to Martial Talk primarily in the Filipino art section. And I'm reading their beginners forum right now. And they usually have great questions. And I read it sometimes mainly because you get really great responses from people. But I'm just looking at the questions so me and Bob can answer them for martial arts students out there. Okay. This guy says, I don't want to be I read that wrong. Oh, no, I did read it right. Okay. I don't want to be a competitive fighter. I want to be, get this, a human killing machine. What
Oh
arts?
my God.
What arts should I do? I want to be a human killing machine.
He needs to be committed to a hospital is what he needs to be.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. How about you start? What arts should this guy study to be a human killing machine? He says, I don't have interest in being a competitive fighter. I want to become one of the most lethal human beings walking the earth, able to protect my family and others. I want one day to be known as a walking killing machine. Based on this info, what are the right arts for me to study?
Oh my God.
Oh, man. Okay. Get a gun. That'll do it.
Yeah,
Get a
that's it.
gun. Ameridote. Ameridote. Bob and I.
Because everything else is bullshit.
That's right. Bob and I will get you hooked up with Master Ken. How's that? Booyah. We'll do that. Um, no, I think this is a joke, but let me let me scroll down here to see if this is. Let me see here. Oh, no, I guess this guy is serious because somebody says I'd suggest starting by studying a reality check.
Nice.
And then this guy answers reality check. Isn't this the place to ask questions and discuss things? Yet you feel the need to jump in and be arrogant and rude. And someone else says, if you haven't figured it out yet, everyone is mocking your question. Not you personally, but the wording and attitude that comes across in a way that you worded your question. Even the name, Ruthless Combat, that's his profile name, comes across as something which most martial artists will have a negative reaction to. Martial artists are not killing machines, nor do we want to be. The fact that you do want to be a killing machine says to us that you are quite possibly in the wrong place or a troll. If you want to be a killing machine, go join an active force in the military. I'm sure they will cure you of that. If you're looking for an argument and online bravado, masochism, then I'm sure the moderators will be will be happy to see you out. But if you just want to be good at self-defense, just say so. I'm sure everyone will answer the questions that you might have. All right, but Bob, in the last minutes of our broadcast, if someone came up to you and said, I don't want to learn all the mumbo jumbo. I don't want to learn to be a competitive fighter. I want to be a human killing machine. What would you say after you prevent yourself from laughing hysterically? What would you say?
No, I'd start laughing hysterically. I would have to. I agree with the last answer. I think maybe he just did word it poorly. He really wants to defend himself and his family if needed.
Right.
Saying a human killing machine, I don't think so. I would have to go back to the laughing hysterically part. He would have to have it explained to him that that's not what it's about. It's about self-protection, self-preservation. And
right.
Here's what you need. You need the Thai boxing. You need the FMA. You need the jiu-jitsu for the ground fighting, even though we don't want to go to the ground. You need certain elements to be able to defend you and your family. And leave it at that and tell them what they are.
Right. If someone came up to me and said that, oh God, what would I say? I guess I would say, is it that you want to have the capability to protect your loved ones? Is it the fact that you want to bring up your confidence and not feel scared about protecting your life and loved ones? Because that's what I think you think a killing machine would be, right?
Right, exactly.
To have that bravery, right? And depending on their answer, then I would say, well, our martial arts will allow you to stoke that, to develop that. However, if they say, no, I want to be a human killing machine, then I would have to see them out the door. Because I don't know anybody that would teach someone with an attitude like that. You know, no. I don't know anybody. But
no, our buddy Greg goes through the thing of we're responsible for our students out there.
right.
We're also responsible for other people. If we train somebody who's going to go out and dismantle people, we're responsible for that too.
Right. Exactly. So, yeah. Well, we are heading into the last part of our broadcast. So, if you're going to be looking at this archived version of this talk, that was primarily answering questions that beginners might ask, or maybe even not so beginners. I want to be a human killing machine. Then,
right.
If you still have questions, feel free to comment under the video, and we'll see about answering your questions, or doing another hangout video podcast answering all of those questions. So anyway, what's next week? Next week is Mother's Day. I'm looking at the calendar.
This without going into it too much, I think this is a very pivotal point for you to spend some time with your mother.
Yes, yes. I was gonna say let's not have a show, so that way all of our listeners and viewers out there can spend time with their mothers and enjoy the day. And I'm hoping that it's actually sunny that day because we actually ordered a new wheelchair for my mom. It's
Good.
actually got yeah. Well, it's a wheelchair that supports her head, right, and has special straps, that kind of thing, because she's really weak in her core strength right now. So we've got this special wheelchair that I think we're gonna go to the local park. It's a nice big park just around the corner from our house, and I think it'd be great to take her to the park and perhaps have a little picnic lunch out there and stuff like that, and come home and do a big barbecue because she always loved barbecues you know, on Mother's Day. She's like, no, let's just stay home. Don't take me out anywhere. Just do a barbecue. Okay, we'll do a barbecue. That's fine, you know. And it'll be the first time that I would actually have a taste of pureed beef ribs. What do you think? I don't know. I think that would be kind of cool. Beef ribs and potatoes pureed together. Here, Mom, a little for me. So,
Oh,
anyway, so you
really?
don't. Well, everything has to be pureed for Mom right now
Oh,
because
I
she's got
understand her. I absolutely
yeah.
understand it.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, I have to taste everything because if I won't eat it, Mom won't eat it. So,
oh, got it. Okay.
yeah, I have to. I'm the taster. So every time I make breakfast, like scrambled scrambled eggs. I make a mean scramble, man. And she likes scrambled eggs with rice. So I'm like, well, it's good, but let's see what it tastes like once you puree it all together, right? And it wasn't too bad. So I'm like, okay, Mom's gonna have it, right? But then she would say, needs more salt. I'm like, okay, okay, we'll put salt in there, okay. So everything that I've made so far for her, I've had to taste, and so far everything's been good except for I made her like some juice with like peaches and blueberries and all this antioxidant stuff, and she hated it.
Oh, nice.
It was just the wrong combination of fruits, right? Like peaches and blueberries apparently don't taste good together. So, and I didn't taste it, and that's why. So,
Ah,
anyway, yeah. All right. So, I guess the next time that we're going to be broadcasting
May
is
15th.
May 15th. So, tune in May 15th. Chances are it's going to be an audio broadcast. So tune in at that time, folks, and keep your eyes out on Dynamic Dojo Talk Radio Facebook page for our discussion topic or our special guest. So we'll talk to everyone next time. Bye bye now. Bye,
All right.
Bob.
Bye.